My father died while I was in prison, and no, they didn't allow me to go to the funeral. And there were a number of reasons for this. The first is that I was at a level 4 institution. It was a high security level, and it was incredibly difficult to get permission to leave even for a funeral. The second is that he died while he was living in Costa Rica. He'd expatriated, and his funeral actually happened down in Costa Rica. What happened here in Virginia was just a memorial service, and they said that made a difference, that I was allowed to ask permission to go to a funeral but not to a memorial service. And if I'd gotten approved, the process wouldn't have been a heartwarming one. I would have had to wear a bright orange jumpsuit, handcuffs and shackles. I would have been led by 2 guards. We had to pay, by the way. We basically had to pay their hourly wages, the cost of transportation and all those things. I would have gone there, and I was allowed to be there for an hour before the service. Couldn't even actually go to the service, but I could go see the body, even though in my case my father was cremated. I could sit with family, but I couldn't have any contact. I couldn't hug anybody, couldn't be that close to anybody. So I could basically just go to the place where they were going to hold the service, but couldn't interact with anyone. And the idea of asking my family to support me in doing that, like, hey, I messed up, I went to prison, now I want you to pay for me to go to my father's funeral that I missed because I'm in prison. And it definitely put things in perspective, because up to that point, I had guilt, I had shame, I had regret, but I didn't realize quite how much I had lost. I realized the harm that I'd done, I realized the harm that I had caused, but I didn't realize how much I was going to lose with that 32-year sentence. And in a lot of ways, it was a turning point for me because I started to really objectively look at my father, who I had idolized up to that point, and realized that just like everybody else, he had clay feet. And I started to look at myself and say, who do I want to be? Not who I thought he wanted me to be, but who do I want to be?